Hello riders and feeders, Tony here with another Killer Queen tech video. This one is all about feeding the snail. If your opponents are pushing the snail, you can do two things. Either a military bee flies by and kills the rider, or another worker can jump into the snail's mouth. When you jump in the snail's mouth, I like to call it feeding. It's a nice short and clear one-syllable word. The first part of this video is showing the exact feeding area. If you step here, the snail will eat you. This took a lot of jumping around. I'm going to put this footage off to the side, speed it way up, and zoom in on the area around the snail instead. Watch the full trials on the left, but the real detail is zoomed in on the right. To find the exact feeding area, I put a gold worker on the snail in the very center of my map, then jumped all around with blue workers. Here I'm jumping up from below, progressively getting closer and closer from the back. At some point, I've moved as far as I can, safely. That's here. After the next tiny step left, I jump into the snail's mouth. So I know the right side of the hot zone starts here. 3 more sides to clarify. This takes a jump from below while right under the snail's head, and then some jumping around the left side. A jump from up above shows how low we can go, and we're left with this orange highlighted feeding trough. If any part of a worker's body enters this space, it gets eaten. Finally, here's a composite overlay of every position I covered during this test. The lack of any blue worker inside the orange death cone confirms those findings. Note that it starts just a bit out in front of the antennae and continues back past the saddle, generally hugging the snail's head. The other important hotspot to narrow down is the one around the saddle. The process is the same. Move and jump around, narrowing down the spots that do not end up right. It's a little harder because the snail turns and moves a bit during the process. The good news is the results make sense. It's the area around the saddle where the rider sits, of course. We can't be far off. So let's hop back on. Watch this detail carefully. The snail has a distinct animation while riding. When we jump on, its head juts out further. Note that the green saddle area was found while the snail was idle, but the orange death cone was measured with the rider on top, of course. So we put the death cone back in place, adjusted around the new position of the snail's head after starting the ride. Here's a key detail. The hotspot for the saddle is behind the hotspot for the mouth. They're in different locations, which enables a few things. First, a worker can stand in the snail's mouth while it's riderless, and nothing happens. But if an opponent jumps on, pow, you're being eaten. Even better is a move I like to call the force feed. When you're riding the snail, the riding animation moves you forward a bit, so the saddle hotspot is wide open just behind you. If an opponent moves into that space and you jump off, he'll instantly be eating you. Watch closely. This is slowed down 10 times, but still happens in an instant. Over only a few frames, the blue rider jumps off, gold ends up on the saddle, and blue falls into the snail's mouth. Watch again in real time. This is a great way for the rider to defend themselves. As long as you have a friendly guard nearby, you can force feed yourself to the snail, putting your opponent on its back. This gives your guard an easy chance to take out a fixed target, since the snail doesn't move while it's eating. Here's a couple shots in motion, more like it happens in real play. It doesn't take long with these visual aids to learn the sweet spot, when to jump off to force feed yourself to the snail. Things aren't so great from the front though. Since the snail's mouth area extends well ahead of its saddle area, you can't count on the opponent to end up riding automatically. Instead, you must jump just before they reach the mouth and hope they keep going into the saddle and stay there long enough for you to fall into the mouth. It's not impossible, but due to the longer timing window, it's harder to pull off successfully. I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep your questions and comments coming.